Happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Tom Styles Show. Today we're going to talk about leadership. And specifically, we're going to focus on narcissistic leadership. And some of you might be, I'm coming back from Thanksgiving. I'm, happy. I had to see my boss today this morning. I hate it, blah, blah, blah. And now this guy's talking about narcissistic leadership? Oh, give me a break. I don't want that. So let me break it down a little bit. In this case, I'm trying to say that if the leaders on top, the leaders of the company, if they have a little bit of narcissistic quality, I do think it's good for the general population in the long run. Now, you're like, whoa, okay, how at the top of the company, so you're saying the CEO is a narcissist, but everybody else is like super compassionate and all that. How does that work, Tom? So now, the reason I'm thinking about it, I saw this news on Wall Street Journal. Michael Maccabee, he did some research on it. He died, I think, November 5th. And one of his research is on narcissistic leadership and how the narcissistic leaders with a very strong vision were able to rile up people around them and were able to execute things that no one else could with a very, even if they had good management skills, they wouldn't have been able to accomplish what these visionary narcissistic leaders were able to do. And then I was like, in his research, he did it a long time ago. He was talking about Jack Welch and all that. Now, I was thinking actually, then wait a second, how about the Silicon Valley? How about this Bill Gates? How about Steve Jobs? How about Larry Ellison? How about Larry Page? How about Mark Zuckerberg? How about Elon Musk? I was like, wait a second. I do think all of them have, if not a whole lot, but at least quite a bit of narcissism in them. And that's what made them successful. And that's what made them build some of the largest companies in the world. Now you might say, not just narcissism, there are other things. They're talented people, they have a vision, they have other good qualities, but narcissism is definitely part of it. Because I would rather live in a world with an iPhone than live in a world where there is no iPhone or there is no SpaceX, there is no Tesla, there is no Oracle database, there is no Windows operating system, there is no Macintosh, there is no Google search. You guys probably don't remember, especially, the young generation probably have no clue how intense the rivalry was between Steve Jobs and Bill Gates that time. And how arrogant Bill Gates was during the FTC investigation of these antitrust issues. And it was all over the news that time. When Steve Jobs later on, he kind of calmed down a bit. But, I was listening to another story from the Salesforce CEO, Mark Benioff. And he went to a dinner with Steve Jobs and his wife, Laureen Jobs. And Steve Jobs was like, okay, join us for the dinner. And then Laureen actually forgot to make a reservation. It's a restaurant in Palo Alto, and the restaurant was completely packed. Steve Jobs says, we're not leaving. We're not leaving until a table opens up. And he waited for hours with a bunch of other CEOs, with a bunch of other people around him, friends and family. Table opened up, he ate in that restaurant. And that gives you an idea that how intense these people were when it came to things they wanted to get done. And he was obsessive with the iPhone. If you were not perfect, all these buttons and, he was so obsessed with the perfection of the iPhone, the iPad when he was alive. And after that, you see, that was the revolutionary product of Apple, the Macintosh computer, the iPhone, the iPad. After that, what do you have today? He's been dead for decades. Of course, it's linear development. Of course, the valuation of Apple is in the trillions. Of course, it has tremendous amount of money. It has all kinds of amazing things going on for it, and the iPhones have been linearly getting better and better and better with every iteration, etc. But there's nothing new. There's nothing absolutely mesmerizing that you're waiting for, the way you waited for Apple products back in the days when Steve Jobs was announcing them. The same with, of course, I don't want to criticize Google. Google leadership has done amazing, but when Larry Page was around, do you remember how intense Larry was? They needed Eric Schmidt to be the CEO, like a parent version of Google, and to keep Larry and Sergey under control. Because Larry was attacking the browser, the Chrome, the search. He was going after he created the email with Gmail. Boom, 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 one after another, products after products that Google was going into. And all those things, how intensely he did, now are so large today, right? Now you can say, we could put a bunch of those under the cloud, and you can say, the Google Cloud is a big thing, and et cetera, but that kind of, energy, and there's so many papers. Now you might say, okay, how do you know these people are narcissists? There is a specific definition. They need to be on the NPI. I'm just loosely using the term, and there are many papers people have put up where they say these people do contain some of the narcissistic traits. Larry Ellison, that's people that famously know him. In Oracle, you have to wait at least 2-3 hours, sometimes the whole day. A whole group of people, execs at Oracle, waited for an entire day to meet Larry Ellison. Everybody knew that. Anybody who worked at Oracle that time knew that there is God, and that's Larry. And that's how everybody knew. And that's how he was. And I would rather have the Oracle database of things that Larry created, even though it was super narcissistic in the personality. But I think we need some of those people. We need that to grow as a civilization. When Mark Zuckerberg, he plays it down in real life, but Jesse Eisenberg, when he did that that movie, how intense he was, it was just ridiculous. And so these things, I would say, and I looked at it, I was like, okay, but these are probably the tech CEOs. How about other CEOs? And how about you put it in a different context? How about the celebrities? That's probably some of the most narcissistic people you have ever seen. Have you seen Kanye? Have you seen the Kardashians? Have you seen the Tom Cruise shouting at his whole team during COVID, the COVID protocol? And I would rather have that. I go to a movie to see Tom Cruise. I want to see what Tom Cruise has created. I want to see that. People go to Instagram to see the Kardashian family. So it's some sort of narcissistic trait is important to create the trend, to be the trendsetter. All kinds of things people are talking nowadays with Elon, and I did an entire video about Elon. And and a lot of it you can think of very similar to what Steve Jobs did, or what Larry Ellison did back in the days, Larry Page used to do back in the days. He wants his version of Twitter. And it's easier to criticize these people that are super narcissistic. Everything's all about them. But I do think we need them. That's my theory. And, I know a lot of people will disagree. Like, hey, how about my boss, my direct boss? He's super narcissistic. Now, let me tell you a story. I worked, and my direct boss was super narcissistic as well. And he literally used to give me work, and I used to send it to him, and he used to just change my name and give it to his boss. It happened so many times, I lost count. Of course, I left the job. I didn't work for him very long. But that's not the people I'm talking about. Because, in that case, he was just copy-pasting my idea, give it to somebody else, and, getting the benefit of that. But what I'm saying is people with a vision that have a larger picture, they're trying to do something that others could never imagine doing. In that case, I would say Mark Zuckerberg, he sacrificed $80 billion. This year, I think he lost $80 billion. And the remaining whatever billion he has left, he might lose it if he goes all into metaverse and the metaverse never works. It's over. It's over for him. But he's taking the risk. He's taking that metaverse risk. Could anybody else, if you hire a CEO today, if you say, okay, Mark Zuckerberg got to go, we hire a CEO. Of course, that CEO will be able to run the Facebook ad machine for the next 10 years, but it will disappear from the face of the planet. But at least I want to say Mark Zuckerberg trying the metaverse, even if he's not successful at the end, is better for our civilization. And it's better for us to live in a world where somebody tries something extremely difficult and fails compared to these business managers that you hire in large tech companies or in large companies where, they always have good numbers and the stock price is always going up. I don't like that. That's not me. I want people to take action. We got a lot of these pictures, even Paris Hilton in there. When you think of Hilton, automatically in your mind is, Paris. You're not thinking of Paris Hilton's grandfather. That's not, you're thinking of Paris Hilton, right? So I'm saying is some sort of narcissistic trait for a visionary leader is necessary and good for society. You can disagree with me. That's totally fine, and feel free to disagree with me because this show is not about crowd pleasing. These are my opinions, my ideas about a topic. I might change my idea down the road if I see enough evidence, and these ideas are flexible and fluid and free-flowing basis. I don't have written proposition, and this is not an academic show, so I am not giving you papers. So this is basically my opinion, and you can like it, disagree with it, or you can come up with your own ideas, and you can share the idea with me, or you can come over to the show and share the idea with me, or share the idea with everybody else. So that's the goal of the show. I hope it generates at least some sort of curiosity, some sort of energy around the topics I talk about, and hopefully it's helpful. Thank you very much for joining us. Please do subscribe. We're trying to reach a good number of subscribers, and we're trying to bring in a lot of exciting things. So thank you very much for joining us. Please do subscribe.